Hello, guys. Welcome. I'm Sam Bellows. I'm here with Josh Druhan. We are two of the co-founders of Franklin Yard. And today we are talking all things SAT and ACT. It's the Standardized Testing Survival Guide. So let's dive in. So first up, just want to address one piece here. The elephant in the room. This is a common question we get. Do the tests still matter? Does any of this matter? Well, it's a good question. It's a reasonable question in the test optional era. But I'm going to give a simple answer to this, even though there's a lot of nuance. So there are still large advantages to having good test scores. If you have two identical applicants and their GPA, their extracurriculars are all the same, if one of them has strong test scores, that's still a big advantage. Additionally, depending on the school, strong test scores can qualify you for merit-based aid. We just had a number of students recently who got tens of thousands of dollars of merit-based aid just based on bumping their SAT score up, like I think in their case it was like 30 or 40 points, so not even that much. The nuance comes in though when we talk about like particular cases. So like, should I, a particular student, submit scores to a particular college? That gets more complicated, and that's really a question for counseling professionals. So your college counselor, they can take a look at your particular circumstances and give you some guidance on that question. Okay, so next up, this is a question I get all the time, probably the most common question I get from parents at the beginning of a program. And it goes something like this. My son or daughter is an excellent student, 4.0 student, 5.0 student, and it's just not reflected in their test scores. Their test scores are underwhelming relative to what you would expect based on their academic performance. This is a really frustrating situation, and I totally understand the confusion. And I just have a couple comments that I think might help people understand that discrepancy. Okay, so first up, getting into the statistics a little bit. Okay, so this is a chart that takes a look at test scores relative to academic performance. So I just want to point out one thing here, which is there is a relationship, as you would expect, between GPA, between academic performance and test scores. So the better you do in school, the better students tend to do on standardized tests. But I think what's interesting is if you look even at this top group here, so these are A+ students, their average score on the SAT is an 1170. That's good. That's above average. It's better than these other subgroups, but I think it's lower than what people would expect. So just because you're an A+ student doesn't mean you're automatically scoring a 1400, 1500. The relationship is actually a lot weaker than what I think people expect. Okay, so that's the first point. But why is this? So a lot of this is by design. The SAT and the ACT are not just meant to mimic academic performance. If they did, then all admissions officers would need is your GPA, and these tests wouldn't be necessary. So they're actually designed to be different than academic tests or high school tests. Now, sure, there's overlap. Of course, you'll need a certain amount of content knowledge. You'll need to know how to find the slope of a line, et cetera, et cetera. But on the SAT and ACT, things like flexible thinking, stress management, time management play a huge role in shaping your scores. So what's the upshot of this? Big improvements on the SAT and ACT can certainly happen. We see it every day, but they aren't easy. It's not as simple as just memorizing a bunch of flashcards. And of course, this is worth keeping in mind, the larger the gap between your starting score and your score goal, the more work is required.